It was that kind of episode. It was. Well, I'm Walter Benasiak back here on the Awesome Walter YouTube channel with my good buddy
Brian Porter. How are you?
Hey, so, well, first of all, didn't even plan this, but
Yeah.
Night's Watch Bros.
Twinsies.
For life.
There we go.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I just came in here and I was wearing the shirt and he had it on.
Yeah. I was like, this is kind of like good for Easter, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Jon Snow brought back to life.
Exactly. I think it was
Christ-like
after a couple days
figure
too,
a little bit. Got the flowing locks. I'm just
Got
saying.
the facial hair.
Yeah.
Very sacrificial
I
kind of guy.
felt it was very.
Very
apt.
much so, yes. Well, happy Easter to you guys. It's probably going up very early Monday morning, but I hope you guys had a good Easter or Passover, whatever you celebrate this weekend. Or if you don't celebrate anything, you just watch Game of Thrones, so we all win.
Yeah, for sure.
So this episode was like the penultimate, well, that's not the wrong word, the episode before the big battle, basically. So it's all this character stuff, a lot of talking, and I think we've all been in this kind of situation before where like something big is about to happen. Obviously not like a war or anything like that for most of us, even though maybe some people watching this have been through that, but like, you know, like just a big event's about to happen and we're all waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
And we're all just kind of like in the trenches, you know, quote unquote.
Yeah, just waiting together, you know,
right.
you're waiting together with someone, with a group
Yeah.
of people. Maybe your family, may not be your family, but
Right.
there's a sense of togetherness in the wait.
And we're about to take something on. I feel like on film sets it's a lot of that, because a lot of time it's waiting,
Yeah,
you know, and
you're
you're with your friends, you're getting to know people, you're reminiscing or whatever, and then, oh, it's call time, got to get out there, or there's, you know, like, everyone gets called on to go on set, and then we all have to be ready and go out there,
Yeah.
and then we're all fighting the same fight, you know what I mean? So it's a similar kind of feeling with this, but on a much more life and death scale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although some
zombie
directors
scale.
probably make you feel like you want to die.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Brian. My bad. Anyway, this, so like I said, this episode has a lot of character stuff, a lot of really quiet moments, and this was just all build up to, which the next episode I'm pretty sure is going to be a big fight. This is where the White Walkers come, and it's going to be all fighting.
122 minutes?
Yeah,
no,
the next
no,
one's really long.
Hour and 22 minutes, that's what it is.
An hour and 22 minutes?
Yeah, hour and 22 minutes.
It's going to be 82 minutes? Oh, man.
Yeah, 82 minutes. I'm almost positive that's what it is.
All right.
So it's going to be a big episode.
Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest.
We didn't see
Game
any
of
of the
Thrones.
actual fighting, really. It was more just like, oh, everyone's getting ready, kind of, in the
Yeah.
preview for next week. So, but this was the one, man. This is the one where everyone kind of, you know, we got to face facts here. This
Yeah.
is the last time that we're going to see a lot of these characters alive and somewhat happy.
And that was hitting me,
It's
like,
hitting me too.
as the episode was going on. And it's just like, this next week is going to be rough.
Yeah, right, man.
Like,
we got Avengers Endgame coming up here on Thursday, which I'm seeing promptly as soon as I possibly can.
absolutely.
And
the
we know
spoilers are real.
Yeah, and we know that some of those characters ain't making it out of there, man.
Yeah.
We know it ain't happening.
Yeah, so between Avengers on Thursday, Friday,
Yep.
and then Game of Thrones on Sunday, there's going to be a lot of nerds all over the world that are going to
This is-
be really upset.
This is going to be a big loss in my fictional life.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming up here this
Yeah, this
week.
is going to be the hardest week in pop culture I've ever experienced.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to take in, and we're going to have to say goodbye to a lot of characters that we really love.
And it's probably going to be brutal, too.
I
Like,
know,
you
especially
can't-
in Game of Thrones, because
Oh,
these characters, I mean, I'm assuming in the new Avengers movie, in Endgame, like, these characters are going to die, like, in a sacrificial way, like, you know, helping out the main cause or something like that's going to happen, but in Game of Thrones, they're going to die and then come back as whites and then fight against the people they just were fighting for.
Yeah, and if you
So-
get someone like Jon, say, I hope this doesn't happen, absolutely not. But if Arya dies and comes back as a white and Jon's got to kill her, it's probably going to be the worst thing I'll ever see on Game of Thrones. Well,
Yeah.
no, there have been worse.
Well, yeah, no,
like
worse.
Shireen and
That was my
whatnot, but
personal. That we were.
that
at
was
last
the worst
episode.
death.
I almost
That was
stopped
the-
watching the show. at
I
that point.
had literally had to talk him into keeping on watching.
Yeah, this was season
The-
5, which was like the
Oh,
worst
awful.
season in terms of just every week was a kick in the nuts, man.
Yeah.
Every week.
Emotionally, just
That's
fucking
right.
tortured. Like,
And
it
the
was
stuff with
bad.
Sansa too was, I think, that same episode or like the episode before or after. It was like right around the same time with her and Ramsay.
Yeah, I think it was like before that.
And that was terrible too. But
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
like
just
for whatever
all
reason,
just-
yeah, the Shireen death, like
The innocence, the pure innocence of that character.
Yeah,
And she
that
was
was
such a
rough.
good character too.
She was really interesting, and Davos is kind of carrying her memory on, so
Yeah, for
she
sure.
kind of lives on in him a little bit. So let's get into the episode.
Yeah.
this is all just preliminary stuff.
Yeah.
The first thing we get is we're right into it after last week's episode ended with Bran and Jaime having this stare-off.
Yeah, just boom.
Right, he's in the Great Hall now. Jaime is facing down everybody and sort of facing his past. And he gets not accused, but, like, told about everything that happened.
You totally killed my dad.
Right. You attacked my dad in terms of Ned Stark in the streets of King's Landing and crippled him, and basically that's what led to his death. Killed the Mad King, which was actually a good thing, but, I mean, that's still her dad, so...
Yeah,
she's a little upset about that. He pushed Bran out a window, and...
Oh, that was
the
so
line.
good.
Oh, the things I do for love.
Yeah, Bran just slips it in
ice,
there.
son.
And again, his face just kind of goes pale.
Yeah.
Like he's about to say it. Doesn't
Right.
say it like, okay.
You know what's funny? The actor who plays Bran was on Jimmy Kimmel. Did you see this?
I saw that.
And the reason he has that kind of stare is because he can't see without his glasses.
Yeah.
So he's just staring into he doesn't have any focus in his eyes.
Yeah.
And you could tell. I was like, okay.
That totally
that
works
makes
like
sense.
he's looking into the past.
No,
though.
it makes a ton of sense.
But it works
for him.
so well.
Yeah, so that's a nice little insight to the character.
But he just slips it in there, and it catches you so off guard for these characters that he's talking to. Like this one, Littlefinger, when he said chaos is a ladder. Like, it's just, he slips it in there, and it's fucking wonderful.
Yeah, good stuff, man. So that was a big, like, kind of mic drop moment. And Jaime's obviously still worried about that. But, the interesting thing that I found here is that he didn't apologize for any of the stuff that he did.
And he said he wasn't going to.
Right.
He said, I was
not
doing it for
your
my house
apology.
and my family,
I'd
and
do
I'd
it
do it
again.
again. Like, it's like...
Right. So
I don't know. He says he would, but I don't think he would on some of this
The thing with Ned, I don't think he would do that because that was just an attack. That wasn't, like, really fighting for his house,
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, well, I guess they had Tyrion at that point, maybe. So maybe that, I don't know. That's a gray area. Killing the Mad King, I think he would have did anyway.
Well, yeah, it's
obviously.
fucking crazy.
Right. And there's a lot of history behind that with Tywin and the Mad King and everything, and just there's a lot of bad blood there. So he was basically using Jaime, the Mad King was, to like kind of taunt Tywin.
Yeah.
Because he wanted him to inherit the lands, and he wouldn't let Jaime leave the
Kingsguard
and stuff.
Okay,
There's a
that's
lot of
right.
history there. So no, that definitely wouldn't change. But everything else, kind of a gray area. And who stands up for him? But of course, Brienne of Tarth comes in and defends him and says that he is an honorable man. He's changed. He defended her from these people who were going to rape her and stuff, and all these terrible things that were going to happen. And he became an honorable man.
Yeah, Sansa coming in like,
right.
Do you trust him?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She really comes up big for him there in a really good scene. So I think that's all that really happens here. I think that Sansa, of course, agrees that, like, whatever Brienne thinks, that she trusts her, and if she trusts him, then let's let him fight.
Yeah.
Instead of punishing him. And then Jon just says, like, well, yeah,
we need
every man we can get. Yeah. And then Daenerys basically agrees, and this kind of was a recurring thing in the episode. Jon, like, doesn't make eye contact with her and bolts out the opposite way. And then
But
Daenerys
before that, we
away.
did see that, so we all now know for sure, Daenerys and Jon and all them know that Cersei lied. And
Yes, that's
not
right.
sending him the hate.
That was one of the big things that Jaime brought back with him.
And
that
she
Cersei
was
lied.
pissed.
Yeah, Daenerys was very angry. Tyrion
Pissed
was,
at Tyrion, yeah.
Yeah, it was revealed as kind of, being trusting of her again. We didn't get Cersei in this episode at all. This is all Winterfell.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, which is interesting because the last episode was called Winterfell, and not everything was at Winterfell. This episode, everything was at Winterfell, and I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, interesting that they named the episode that. But anyway, so Tyrion's kind of revealed as like, I'm a fool, admits his mistake, and he's been making kind of a lot of mistakes the past couple big decisions he had to make. Like in Marine with the slavers coming back, and Daenerys had to come back and bail him out.
Yeah.
And now this happened, and Daenerys is kind of like, do you really trust her? And he was like, yeah, because she has a kid on the way.
Yeah.
And Jaime also thinks that she has a kid on the way. But in the last episode, she was sleeping with Euron, and she was drinking wine in that scene. I didn't notice that before. So, does she really have a kid? Does she not care that she has a kid?
I think she would care. As much faults and as much of an evil bitch as she is.
I think that
I think if she really did have a kid, she would care.
But I think everything's kind of dead in her now. Like that when Tommen died, or whoever the last kid was.
Tommen.
Yeah, she kind of, that part of her died. So, like, maybe she just wants to kill the kid. You know what I mean? Like, maybe she's drinking the wine.
Again, I can't see that.
Or maybe Euron is, you know, like sleeping with Euron was a political thing to say, like, oh, it's not Jaime's kid, it's Euron's kid. Like now he's, you know, that could be an excuse or something. I don't know. She's not an important part of this episode anyway, but it is important to bring that up. So, you know, they go off that way. And I think we should go into talking about the scene with Bran at the Weirwood Tree with Jaime, which is something I've been wanting to see for a long time. And we got to see this confrontation one-on-one, a really good scene. And, their back and forth is really interesting. Jaime actually does apologize to him.
It's like the first thing he says. Right,
yeah. And he said he wouldn't apologize about anything, and that's the one thing he did apologize for. Yeah. So, he says that he's not Bran Stark anymore. He's the three-eyed raven now, and Jaime is not the same person anymore. He's a much, much different character.
Yeah, and he's like, and you wouldn't be who you are if you didn't push me out the window. And it's just like, wow.
It's true. That started kind of his path to hit rock bottom so he could build himself back up.
Yeah. His character arc for the entire series has been one of the best, big character changes of the entire series. I absolutely love it. I'm a huge fan of Jaime. I wanted to kill him. I wanted him to die in the beginning, but man, such a turnaround. Yeah, oh yeah.
A similar thing with Theon, we could just mention really quick.
Oh.
Theon comes back to Winterfell. He wants to fight with the Starks again, where he grew up, and Sansa just fully embraces him.
Yeah, when he stops looking at Daenerys, and he asks Sansa to fight for Winterfell, and she's got tears in her eyes. She goes and gives him a hug. It was like, Theon's back!
Yeah, and of course, I mean, he helped her escape from Ramsay and everything.
Yeah.
Was that last season or 2 seasons ago? That was last season.
No, season 6.
Was it 6? Man,
yeah.
So much has happened.
Yeah.
Since then. So yeah, that was a nice reunion we got to see, and now that he's going to be fighting for the Starks again, I'm sure we'll see something with him and Jon, maybe, that comes up.
Yeah.
Maybe him and Bran. We did get, I guess, see a thing in the war room, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little scene. We're going to be jumping around all over the place here because I just wanted to absorb this episode. I didn't want to be looking down at my phone, copying notes. I was fully absorbed the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I know you were too.
The episode flew by.
Yeah, for sure. I think this was another 50-something minute
episode. Yeah, it's one of the small ones.
One of the quicker ones. So we're just going to be jumping all around, so just stick with us here as we go through this entire episode.
We'll stick with Theon. Do you want to go to the war room yet? Or
no, let's hold off. Okay. Right before this stuff with Theon, this thing that interrupted, that was the thing that interrupted another scene, which was a fascinating scene.
Oh, yeah.
Daenerys goes in to talk to Sansa, who is the Lady of Winterfell, and they kind of have this talk, this heart-to-heart about things and stuff that they have in common about being women leading like these big groups of people who don't really want to be led by women and all this, and they have a really cool connection there. And
but
what?
They have a good connection up until Sansa says, after the war, after everything, say we win the city, you win, you go destroy Cersei. What happens? I take the Iron Throne. What happens to the North? We had
North was taken from us. We got it back,
and we said we'd never.
Jon was supposed to be our king.
Like it was just this big.
Had her hand on her hand.
Yeah, and she took it off, and. There was
the
such
ambition is too strong.
the coldness but the intensity with Sansa when she asked that, looking at Daenerys like just dead in the eyes, and Daenerys, I mean, she kind of blinked. I would say that she kind of blinked
a little bit, but she was also like, she took her hand away and she was like, the North is mine.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bend the knee.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, and then it gets they get interrupted.
Depending on who gets through this. I mean, Daenerys might not make it. Sansa might not make it. We don't know who's gonna make it through this. So Jon might not make it. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Dude, this is gonna be fucking.
So that was a really good scene. I really enjoyed that. A little scene I wanted to talk about, small one. We got to see the Mormonts reunite.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe they might have been seeing each other for the first time. I don't know. But it was just interesting seeing a Mormont and a Mormont, specifically Jorah, who we've been following for so long, interact with Lyanna Mormont. So the very feisty young lady who's the leader of the Mormont clan and everything. And he was trying to convince her to stay down in the crypts because she's the future of the family. And she's, of course, says, no, I'm going to be out there fighting with everybody. And
she's such a little badass.
Right. So I guess they're cousins somehow. So I don't know exactly how, but they are cousins. They're related pretty decently closely. Because I know Jorah Mormont, Jorah's dad, would have been like the leader of Bear Island, I think. So it had to have been like one of his siblings who took over. And I'm assuming that Lyanna is the daughter of one of the siblings. Yeah. So,
yeah, that sounds about right.
So they have to be, yeah, I guess maybe first cousins. But anyway, that was I was hoping they would do that going into this episode. Like both the Mormonts are there, kind of want to see a little bit. So we get a small scene there. So
it's like how are they gonna react? How is she gonna be like, "Fuck you, you traitor," or you disgraced our house?
Yeah.
Like, she handled it really well.
Yeah, she didn't really. I think she realizes there's no time for that. Like,
and especially as she was walking away, because she had said her piece, like, "I'm gonna fight, that's it." And then she goes to walk away and she turns back and, "Good luck, cousin." And it's just like,
yeah, there's a little heart in there. So right after that,
oh yeah,
Sam comes up with Heartsbane.
That was so good.
The Valyrian steel family sword of House Tarly, and he wants to use it to defend, his stepson, I guess. I don't know what you'd consider Gilly's kid.
Yeah,
Little Sam. Sam and Gilly.
His namesake.
His namesake. But he says he can't even hold it upright, and he says that...
It looked like a big fucking sword.
And the Master Commander of the Night's Watch for so long, which was Jorah's father, Jorah, taught Sam how to be a man.
Yeah,
and
that
he
was
says
really
he taught
good.
him what's right, and this feels right, and he gives him the sword. So
Such
now...
a good scene.
So now Jorah has the Valyrian steel sword to defend himself against.
Yeah.
So he's got one of the killers right there for the White Walkers in his hands. So that's a good thing for him.
Yeah.
He's our new Batman, by the way. So you better
go
get on
gadget,
board with that.
Valerian sword.
Go gadget. Valerian sword.
Batman's got gadgets.
Gadgets.
It just works, all right?
Yeah, I get it.
Need more beer.
I haven't watched any of Titans, by the way, so I kind of really want to see his interpretation of Bruce Wayne, so I might try and sneak an episode in there. Or something.
I literally only want to see his interpretation of Bruce Wayne because
yeah.
everything I've seen, I haven't watched Titans either, but it looked like shit.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard it started off bad, but got better. This isn't a Titans review, but I am excited to see what he brings to the Batman character because he does.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's got a unique charisma too. He's got this quiet, sort of like very noble thing going on. He's been in a lot of really crappy movies that he plays bad guys in, so he has a really hard edge.
Wasn't he in one of the Laura Croft movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's like one of the bad guys in Laura Croft. Yep, that's him. So he is got an edge to him, and he's got like this noble side to him. So I'm gonna look forward to seeing that combined, maybe in checking out an episode of Titans. But anyway, we just jumping around here. Another thing that happened up on top of Winterfell, on like the top of the wall, we get sort of a reunion of the Night's Watch with Ed. The what's left of the Night's Watch is the Master Commander, I guess. And then Jon was there with Sam, and they have sort of they mentioned that they're the only ones left, and it was a very cool moment to see that they've been through so much, and they're the only ones left of what they started out with, basically, of being friends, that group of friends with Ren and Pip. Yeah, and they're the only ones left. So that was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
I like how Ed was like, Samuel Tarly is like a lover of women and is confident and all this stuff. Like, we really are at the end of the world.
Yeah.
So
that was good.
Yeah, that was a good scene. I really enjoyed seeing that little callback.
And then you get a back shot of them, and it just kind of comes up over the rampart, the battlement, or whatever.
Yeah.
You see over Winterfell, and you see towards the tree line in the distance, and it's like that's where we're gonna see the White Walkers. And it's just like, oh, it's coming soon.
Yeah. Every time you look out on the horizon, it's just like, we're gonna see a lot of blue eyes pop up pretty soon here.
Yeah.
So, I had so much, before we go into more stuff, I had so much anxiety watching this. I was just like filled with anxious energy the entire time, and that happens sometimes when I'm really into something.
Oh yeah.
It's happened before with Game of Thrones, but this is like, because we know nothing was gonna happen this episode. It's all just like, when's something gonna happen? When's it gonna be? Because I was figuring maybe we'd see a White Walker and it's just gonna quickly cut to black.
Yeah,
and that pretty much happened.
Yeah.
But I thought it could end at any moment. I was just like the entire time just watching like.
But I was also too thinking like, what if they throw us for a loop and they just started like.
I didn't think that was gonna happen.
There was one part.
The episode's too short.
Yeah. There was one part in the Great Hall area, or maybe not the Great Hall though. One of the halls where a lot of people are gathered, and there's this part with Jaime, and it was like this full shot of him, and he was talking, and it's like right now would be a perfect time for them to throw a curveball and have like an arrow or a spear or something like that.
Oh, please, with Bronn.
Come through and just Jaime, and I was kind of nervous, like, no, please, this is a great moment right now, like.
Yeah, Tyrion and Jaime have a couple really good heart-to-hearts in this episode. Let's go into that a little bit. So at the same place that the Night's Watch reunion happened, we also get a little reunion with Tyrion and Jaime, and they talk a little bit more about what led them there and everything. And Tyrion repeats the line of, like, I thought I'd be 80 years old, you know, with a belly full of wine
and a girl's mouth on my cock.
Yes, yeah, and then Jaime finishes the line for him,
Yeah.
which is pretty
I was finishing it in my head. I'm like, I've heard this before.
Yeah, of course. I was like, ah, nice. But yeah, I mean, they're just, you know, it was a really cool line that I heard there from Tyrion, where he says that you know, Cersei fooled him or whatever, and Jaime said, well, she fooled me too, and Tyrion's like, no, she never fooled you. You knew exactly what she was, and you helped her anyway.
Or you loved her anyway.
Did you say love her? I thought helped her. Well, whatever.
I thought it was love. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Either way.
But it was so good. It's like, that's so fucking true.
Yeah, very good.
You 100% knew what type of person she was.
Absolutely. And Jaime's living with the consequences of that, even if he wants to deny it. He's living with the consequences of a lot of stuff right now. So let's go into the big scene, which was around the fire with a lot of our favorite characters.
Oh god, so good!
It starts off, who was in there? Just Jaime?
Just Jaime and
Tyrion.
And talking about how if Tywin was there,
alive,
you could see him now.
Defending Winterfell and everything. Yeah, that was very interesting.
That would be a sight to see.
And then a bunch of characters come in there. Davos does come in eventually.
First it's
Brienne and Podrick. Then Davos, I think.
And then Tormund.
Tormund killed it in this episode.
He comes.
That dude is the best, like, comedic character on this show by far.
Well, first, before we see Tormund, we hear riders on the wall, you know, riders coming or whatever, and then you see Ed walking up into Winterfell, and Jon sees him. Yeah. Jon sees him, and he goes up. He's about to give Ed the hug, and all of a sudden, this fucking bear of a man.
He just intercepts him.
Like, give him a little crow, and it's Tormund, and it's just like, oh.
Yes. He's like, is the giant woman here?
Yeah, the giant woman here.
Dude, his facial expressions, his eyes, and the arc he has in his eyebrows. Like, perfect.
He has a little insanity there. It has to be
a lot of insanity. Like, right beneath the surface.
Yeah, that guy's a little crazy, and I love it.
I've seen some interviews with him, and he's very high energy. I love that guy. So, yeah, that was a great scene there. But anyway, in the big scene by the fireplace
he walks in, and he's like straight stalking, laser focus on Brienne, and it is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And they're talking about how they're all dying tonight and everything, and it's like, yeah, okay, I know what he's getting at.
Yeah. He's like, Tyrion's like, you want a drink? And he's like, no, I brought my own. He's got a drinking horn. It's like, oh, it's so bad.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was...
They call you the King Killer.
Oh, dude, the story he tells, and we've heard this, like a version kind of the story before about how he had sex with a bear or something.
Yeah.
This was so much better.
Oh, it was great.
Because his last name is Giantsbane, Tormund Giantsbane.
They call you the King Killer.
Right.
Call me the Giantsbane.
Yeah, he tells him why they call him the Giant's Bane is that he killed the giant
when I was 10 years old.
When he was 10, and then he went to the bed of the female giant, the wife.
The wife, yeah.
And he suckled on her tit for
3 months.
Thought I was a baby. I lost my mind laughing.
It was so good.
It made me forget how serious things were, which we needed a break. You need those comedic breaks.
Yeah. That's why I got so strong.
Giant's milk. And he starts chugging the horn, and it just going everywhere. Oh my god, it was so
Tormund Giantsbane, here's to you, and here's hoping you live.
Yeah, seriously. Pouring out for him in my gullet here. Nothing stronger than the doctor.
Yeah.
So yeah, that scene goes on, but that was so funny.
So good.
So funny.
The disgust from literally everyone looking at him as he's downing his drink. Everybody's just kind of like, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh,
Tyrion,
so good.
Tyrion points out that everyone in that room has at one point fought against the Starks. So it was interesting that they're all defending them now, or defending their castle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting kind of dichotomy of where they were to where they are now. So pointing that out was very interesting. Then we go to Brienne, and they ask her, she wasn't a knight or whatever, and Tormund's confused by this because he's part of the Free Folk, doesn't know like the traditions of Westeros. Yeah. Why aren't you a knight? Why, that doesn't make any sense. You're like one of the fiercest fighters that he's ever seen. And she said that she doesn't even want to be a knight, whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't need a king or a queen or anything to knight a knight. All you need is another knight, which I found out They might have mentioned it in the show, but I found that out from reading the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms books, the Dunk and Egg Tales. They talk about that in there. All you need is a knight to knight you, and you're a knight. And Jaime's there, so...
And he says that, too, and he's like, another knight can knight a person, so here, I'll show you.
Right, and it's against tradition to knight women, because, I think Tyrion calls her Lady.
He calls her Sir Brienne. Or, yeah.
Sir on accent, it's like, sorry, Lady Brienne.
Lady, yeah.
And then, Jaime basically says, screw that, and calls her over, and knights her, goes through the full motion, and she's a knight, and that was on par with...
Good.
Do you remember the episode, I think it was season 6, where Ramsay was legitimized by Roose Bolton to become Ramsay Bolton instead of Ramsay Snow?
Yeah.
And even though he was one of the most, if not the most, despicable character on this entire series, we felt so proud of him in that.
Yeah, there was a certain degree of accomplishment and just a grandiose nature of.
And you felt good for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even though
he was a heartless, horrible, evil person.
One of my favorite characters. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, but you felt for him there. It's you feel a sense of pride that he did this. This meant so much to him. This was on par with that for sure. Yeah. And just seeing Bran start to tear up. Yeah. Gwendolyn Christie is a really good actress, man. And it's a freaking crime how little she was used in the Star Wars sequels.
Yeah.
Because she, spoilers if you haven't seen Last Jedi, whatever, she dies in that.
And especially when they come back in Last Jedi and you see her again, I was like, yes, let's get some more.
That's right away.
And
criminal how underused she was in that, because she is a great actress. And we saw it here with no words, just tearing up in the look of just like innocence and vulnerability, but also pride and friendship with Jaime. And like this is kind of the culmination. Respect, absolutely. Yeah. This is the culmination of their relationship. They hated each other at first, and they eventually become they're the closest of friends.
Yeah, they're respected equals friends.
Absolutely.
It's just,
they have the utmost respect for each other. Like no one in the show respects each other more than Jaime and Brienne do, and you can feel that, and it's just. It feels so good. And I think that might be the last time we get that kind of thing from them, because I think one of them are probably going to die, if not both. So, I know.
I don't even want to think about it.
I know. But what a great scene, man.
Oh, yeah. And then Tormund's just looking at her with this big-ass grin on his face.
Starts clapping,
and he's clapping like really, well, it's so good. It's like Tormund,
Seven Kingdoms.
As soon as that happened or whatever, it was like, all right, now Tormund and Brienne go make giant babies.
Her looks are just as good, by the way. When he comes around, she's just like, oh god,
disgusting human.
Like, I don't know what to say or what to do. Get away from me. Great scene, man. That was probably the biggest one in the whole episode, I think, in terms of like the most characters and like the most going on.
A
ton of stuff happening there. Let's go into the Jon and Dany stuff. You want to go to that?
Let's skip
around. You want
to
go to war room stuff, or what do you want?
Let's do war room. We got to hit Arya.
Arya and Gendry.
Gendry,
yeah. All right, let's talk about war room stuff first, because I think they came before that. Okay, so war room, we have everyone in there, all like the major leaders of everything. Theon's in there as well. I think Davos is in there. Tyrion's in there. Jon's in there. Dany. All of them are in there trying to plan out how they're going to do this. Jaime's in there sort of asking questions because he hasn't dealt with the White Walkers yet. So they're going through about how this is going to happen. Bran is there, and we actually get some kind of, I hesitate to say confusion, but we get some kind of uncertainty from Bran because he doesn't know exactly what's going to happen, or maybe he does, but he doesn't know how they're going to get there. And him's just sort of having a little bit of humanity. It's not just dead stares and mic drop
there
lines.
was personality there, and it was showing through pretty good as best as we've seen.
Right. So Jon says that the Night King made everyone else, so if they kill the Night King, everyone's gonna die.
Which gave me a huge bout of anxiety even more, because it's like,
all the whites are gonna go
Jon,
down.
don't try and go out in the lines and try and find the Night King. Like, oh god. So that was just like,
I think that's what's gonna happen. Well, I don't know, maybe it won't. Here's the thing, though, that the Night King wants the Three-Eyed Raven. He wants to kill Bran. Because Bran, as the Three-Eyed Raven, has the memories of the entire realm in his head. So he wants to kill him, and in a great line from Sam, the actors on this show are so freaking good.
Yeah, it's
Because
just
Bran,
top quality.
Bran's great here, but Sam is so good. Earlier when him giving the sword up and talking with the Night's Watch brothers is great, but then in this scene, he's talking about what death really is, and death is being forgotten.
Yeah.
Death is forgetting.
Death, forgetting who you are and becoming
goodness.
an animal.
Yeah.
And it was.
And if we, what's a great place to start with killing Bran would be killing all the memories of the entire land and Westeros and beyond that and everything. So it's like,
yeah, it was a really
man,
good scene.
Samuel Tarly, I want to meet that guy. I think out of anyone on the show, I want to meet Samuel Tarly. I want to meet that guy.
Yeah.
Out of anybody on the show.
He'd be good. I think he would be one of those people that you meet him. He would genuinely be like, I want to talk to you.
He's very funny. I've seen him in interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like a really nice guy.
Personable,
really funny.
and I think like he would enjoy talking to the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one dude out of anybody I would want to meet. And we've met, or at least you've met Hodor before.
No, you were there.
Yeah, but I didn't really talk to him. You like kind of exchanged words.
We were talking a little bit, and then I asked him like, is it, a lot of people ask you to say Hodor. Yeah. Can you say it? Yeah, sure. Hodor. All right.
Yeah, that was cool.
Guy's a giant. Like, he was hunched over on a table, still taller than me.
Yeah,
that's not difficult, but still, it was.
And he was really nice too, because you didn't want to buy anything or whatever.
Yeah.
But going to a con's expensive, man. Like, sometimes you just want to meet your kind of favorite characters or whatever.
And you can't afford.
Right. And there was no line there.
Yeah.
So just like you just went up and tried to meet him. He shook your hand and everything. And
great
he's
big
a big
paw
dude. He's
of
a big
man.
dude.
Like, my hand disappeared. It was just like.
Yeah.
Tattoos like up on his.
Yeah, he's like a
over
DJ.
here,
He plays guitar. He plays a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
He's
like,
very
it was
musically
super cool to
talented
me. It was really cool.
Yeah. If I ever meet Sam, that would be a highlight, man.
Oh, yeah,
I want to
for
meet
sure.
that guy. What a great actor. And a really cool personality. So anyway, they're going to be the Night King's plane is going to be probably going after Bran, but everyone else, all the other White Walker generals and the Whites and everything are just going to be
Killing everybody.
storming the castle, literally. So their plan is to have Bran as bait. Bran suggested it, and that's kind of what they have to go with.
Yeah, he's like, I have his mark. He always knows where I am.
Yeah, so they're going to have him out by the Weirwood tree out there in the Godswood. And Theon pipes in and says, I took this castle from you like a jackass. And, he's been redeemed for the most part now. And he said him and the Ironborn that he brought with him are going to defend Bran.
So it was
that's
so
gonna be the last line of
good.
defense.
It's just like, oh, Theon, you're so going to die.
Yeah, he's gone. But
Yeah.
but it's a great last stand for him probably is what's going to happen, defending Bran. So, yeah, that was a really cool scene. Everyone else is going to be in the crypts. Like a lot of the women and children and stuff are going to be down below.
I have to mention that one scene with that little girl.
Oh yes! Oh,
Okay.
Davos.
Oh God, such a good
This is
scene.
my heartstring tugging at.
It was like I almost teared up. Like it was really close.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Davos is on the line serving soup to all the people that are still coming into Winterfell, and the one guy's like, "I'm not a soldier," and Davos is like, "I've been in plenty of battles. I fought outside the Battle of the Bastards right out here, and I barely saw a stitch of combat. You'll be fine."
Character's got a lot of empathy, man.
Oh yeah, great character. Mm-hmm. And so the dude kind of nods his head and walks away, and then we see Gilly talking to some other people.
We haven't seen her this season yet, so it's cool to see her.
And talking about them, they're going to be in the crypts with the women and children and old people or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And then we hear, where should I go? From this tiny
It's more
voice.
like,
Where should I go?
Yeah.
May I have some more porridge?
I totally thought that, right? Like, she had the bowl of
some
soup.
more.
yeah, I know.
And so Davos kind of like turns around and looks, and he looks down and he sees this little girl.
Mm-hmm.
How old do you think she was? 9? 10?
Maybe less than that. Yeah, maybe
Like,
7
and
or 8.
she's scarred up on the right side of her face.
Oh, you could say maybe a little callback to Shireen too, because she had the scar. And
For
Davos
sure. Oh,
was,
absolutely.
Like, probably saw her. In
Absolutely.
Her. Yeah, good callback.
And
you Game of Thrones.
she's like, where should I go? My brothers were soldiers, and I want to fight too. And she had this ferocity about her, but also it's just this pure innocence.
Right.
And Davos is kind of like, what the fuck do I do? And Gilly comes up like, we're going to be in the... she said she didn't want to be in the crypt with the other children. And Gilly comes up like, well, I'm going to be in the crypt with my son, and it would be an honor for you to guard me and protect me. And she's like,
takes that.
okay, I'll protect them.
Yeah.
And it was such a good scene.
And it's from a character that we didn't see before. That's the commitment. I mean, I know a lot of people, at least I've seen a lot of people complain about like season 6 through now, about how like the characters aren't the same and because they had to break off from the books. and like a lot of the stuff is just
With
happening
the
too
speed
fast.
too, yeah.
All that
speed.
stuff, but we still get these scenes.
Yeah, this was like you said, a character we'd never seen before, an unknown character, but it still was such a good scene that it almost made me tear up. Like it was so good.
Yeah, it's just a really well done
And what, 3
well
minutes?
written, really well written scene, and they didn't have to put that scene in there. You could have cut that and lost absolutely
and
nothing.
you would have lost nothing.
But this show's commitment to its characters and building up real human connections with people is such an admirable quality about this show.
Yeah, it never stopped.
Right.
Never stopped doing that. Whether it's making you like hate these characters or feel for these characters or so incredibly depressed season 5.
Yeah.
Like there's always been, and it's just the heart of this show, even with the speed that we're at now.
Right.
It's still there. Maybe even more so in the last 2 episodes.
If you want to, it's, you know, like a lot of people say that those older seasons had these kind of, you know, politically charged scenes with these one-on-one talks and everything, and a lot of heart between certain characters, you know, getting to know them and such. This episode is basically all of that, but with all the characters that we've been following, for the most part, with little bits like that thrown in and stuff. So
that's so good.
Because we're gonna get a lot of action these next few episodes. So, like the last episode did a good job at setting things up, but this one was really just all heart, all connections with the characters, and reestablishing our connection with them.
Yeah, it was a very character-driven episode.
Right, and it's freaking done great.
Yeah,
acting is
flew by.
Yeah, just on point.
It
the
flowed
writing,
so well.
Right. The editing in this episode too is really well done. I thought just really letting scenes breathe and everything. I thought was really smart. Instead of because a lot of times when you have this many characters and you try to speed things along, you want to like snap cut to a lot of things happening. But they let these cuts breathe. And they let a lot of things happen without, rushing through it.
Yeah.
They gave
very natural.
Right, and they gave these scenes room to breathe, and I really admire that. So
absolutely.
Just to the creators of this show, thank you, man.
Yeah, the writing has
Thank
just
you, man.
always been so good.
Of course. But anyway, that's the end of that really short scene, which was great. Let's go into Arya and Gendry. So
first, we see them twice. So the first one we see.
Oh, forgot about this. Let's talk about Arya and the Hound and stuff first.
Well, okay. Well, I was gonna.
Was that before that? I don't remember.
Arya and the Hound was between. Okay, so
you break it down.
The first part we see Arya, she's walking into the forge, the shop, whatever, the foundry, whatever you want to call it, and Gendry's making all these things and he's doing all this stuff, and she's like, "Yo, where's my shit? Did you get done with it?" And oh, sorry, I've been making all these freaking pieces of dragon glass, and he's kind of overworked and annoyed in a little bit, and she's like, what's he like, or what's it like? You fought them, like, what's it like? And after a little prodding, he's like, it's like death. It's death. Like, you don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. I know you can fight down rapists and murderers or whatever, but this is nothing like you've ever seen. And I thought that was really good talking to Arya, because she hasn't seen this.
Right.
She can face fear, she can face the eyes of these people and kill them. But he's right, she has not seen this before. But then she picks up a dragon.
Many faces.
Yeah, death wears many faces. She picks up I don't know if it was a dagger or the edge of
arrow tip or
something. Arrow tip or spear point or whatever.
Yeah.
And she chucks it at this beam right next to the dude's head, and it sticks there nice. Death has many faces. I've seen many of his faces before. Throws another one. Boom. Right next to the first one. And then she's like, I'm looking forward to seeing this face. And she throws it and it gets stuck right next to the other
Robin
one.
Hooded that.
Oh, it was beautiful. And Gendry's just like,
I'll get
right on it. Like, damn.
Yeah.
And she walks away. It was such a good scene. And then later on, we see her with the Hound on the top part of the
This was
castle.
another great character scene.
Yeah.
It's just the Hound hanging out, drinking wine. Just Hound being the Hound. And Arya comes up, and they have more of a warmer scene, as warm as these characters can be, compared to the last episode where it's just like, you're a cold little bitch, aren't you? This was a little bit more than that. So they're alone now. They kind of talk a little bit. And Arya eventually asks him, like, do you ever fight for anything except yourself? And
No, she goes, why are you here? I've never known you to fight for anything other than yourself.
Right. Yeah. And then he looks at her and says, oh, I fought for you, didn't I? And he did.
That was so
Trying to
good.
defend. It was a misunderstanding, but he was trying to defend her from Brienne all those seasons ago when he basically killed her. Or she basically killed him.
Yeah, beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. So Yeah, just a really well done scene. Beric Dondarrion comes in. He's about to deliver a little Lord of Light sermon, and he's
Nope.
Hound is like, I will chuck you off of this wall if you start talking again. So that was a really well done thing, and then Arya walks away and is like,
I'm not spending my last night here listening to you.
You old bastards. Or
something like that.
That was funny.
And so later on, I don't know if it was right away or whatever, but she walked. Where was she? Where was
I think
Gendry?
they were in the crypts.
What was he doing? I don't remember what he was down there for.
She was down there, and then he came down there.
Really?
Yeah, she was down there first, right?
I thought she walked up.
Oh, I don't know. I thought she was down there first. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, anyway, they interact in that scene. I think it's in the crypts. It looked like the crypts.
Yeah, it looked like underneath something.
But maybe it wasn't. It looked like where the crypts are though. So like they have a scene where he gives her the staff, which is cool, and like she flips it around and stuff, and she's playing around with it.
Oh, she is down there. She's shooting the arrows.
Right, she's practicing. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the crypts, but anyway.
Yeah.
He gives her the spear. I guess the double-edged spear thing, and she's flipping it around. And
yeah, it
everything.
looked good. Like she
Darth
knew
Maul
what
and
she was
that
doing.
shit, and, like ready to go. And so like she asked Gendry what happened because the last time she saw him, I think like the Red Woman took him or something.
Yeah.
And he explains what happened with that, which was the leeches and the King's Blood thing, and he tells her for the first time that he's Robert Baratheon's bastard son, and she's like, what? And is shocked by that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool that she learned about that. Not the only parentage reveal we got here.
Yeah.
But anyway, they go on, and she's kind of curious about like if he's been with any women or whatever, and she really presses him on this. And he says, "Oh, okay, with 3 women or something." And then she says she wants to know what it's like, and then they basically bone in the crypts. And I gotta say, man, this was freaking weird.
Yeah, it was a little odd.
There wasn't full nudity, and I don't know if sometimes
it might have been not her.
Right, they've done that before, where like they switched the head on someone else's body.
Yeah, like
they did
it was
with
more of
Leia
like a back shot of her, so you couldn't see her face.
Right.
Like, so it's like it might
could
not
have
have been her.
And they didn't show a frontal thing, but it's just very weird because Maisie Williams started off as like a little girl on this show.
When did this come out? 2010? 11? Yeah, so I mean, this was
and
a
it's
while
just, and she's like 21 now. She's a full-grown woman.
22,
like,
I think.
So, yeah, whatever. She's in her early 20s. I mean, like, this stuff is going to be happening, I guess, if she's going to be in these serious type of shows or whatever. But
it's
like,
still weird.
It's weird, man. It is very weird. And Gendry always seems so much older than her. When she was very young in those first couple seasons, he was like doesn't look much different than he does now.
Well, he looks a little older now.
A
but
little bit,
he
but not
He
much.
looked like he was at least in his mid to late teens back then.
At least I would say like early 20s almost. He looked pretty old, man. He had like a beard and everything. Like, he looked a little bit older, but I mean, not saying the scene was creepy or anything. It's just weird to be like, she was a little girl, man. It's strange. They got all the way over there.
Yeah.
And they did that. I mean, it's a better position to be in than with what happened with Sansa. Even though they didn't show anything in that.
Yeah, well,
but
still
that scene was terrible.
It's like when she asked him, it's like, I can see where they're going, but that doesn't track with Arya. But it's okay.
No, there was always like this kind of romantic.
Well, yeah, but it just didn't track with Arya and her personality with her like.
This is their
being
last
personable with people. You know what I mean? Like it's only been pretty much her family. Everybody else, she's been straight up
knew Gendry.
Calculate.
Right, but her and Gendry were friends.
Like even Hot Pie, she was very. It was probably her only other friend.
She had time to warm up to him though. It's been a few days, like we saw in the last episode where they reunited. It's been a little while, and she thinks this is the end of the world. Like she might die. She very well might die. Or
well, she said, and it's just like
she wants
it's like
to know
I saw what
like.
they were building up to. It's like I don't know. Like it doesn't fit, and then she says it. It's like, well, it fits, but it's like, oh, I just didn't see that coming. You know?
I mean, I kind of would sort of expect something like that to happen.
Like if you were to ask me
but
what my thoughts were going to happen on this episode beforehand, I would have never got that. Like I would never thought that was going to happen. But it's good, you know. It builds the characters.
Yeah,
it works.
It works fine. And I'm pretty sure that, like I said, I'm not 100% sure they were in the crypts, but like we were talking about
earlier,
earlier,
like they were underneath.
Yeah, right. If you remember to the first episode of the whole series, Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon were in the crypts looking at Lyanna's grave, and they say basically that we're going to join our houses. Join our houses. That's what the King Robert said to Ned, and implying for, at that time, Sansa to marry Joffrey, which we know Joffrey is not a Baratheon at all. He's an inbred freaking Lannister. So that was right. But eventually that came to pass in the same place that it was said.
Yeah.
So they did join their house.
And he's like, what if she's pregnant? It's like, wow.
It's possible.
They would be joining their houses, yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
The Baratheons and the Starks.
Yeah, so it could be, she might be pregnant by the end of the season. I don't see that happening, but I mean, it's a possible.
Mama Arya? I don't know. She's probably going to go out killing someone.
You never know with this show. So, yeah. Anyway, good scene there. Unexpected, if you say.
Yeah.
But it was cool just to see them finally kind of, hit it off, like that they act on their romantic feelings. So.
Yeah, because he was always kind of like a nervous, around there a little bit.
Yeah. So that was cool. So now let's talk about the Dany and Jon scene. Okay.
Well, you want to talk about the montage?
Was that the end of the episode?
It was before.
Oh yeah, I forgot because Podrick ended. Yeah, you go ahead and explain that.
Okay, so back in the room with Podrick, Tyrion, Jaime, Bran, and Tormund, everybody's drinking. There's no more wine. Like, we should go to bed. Fuck it, no one's sleeping tonight. And so Tyrion's like, let's have a song. Davos, you want a quick death?
Yeah.
And Jaime, no. Bran, no. Tormund, no. I totally expected him to start belting out some ridiculous.
Spain is my name.
And then I said right before it happened, I was like, watch, Podrick's got like the voice of an angel. And then Podrick starts singing, and I'm like, yes. Yeah. And he sounded good.
Yeah.
He starts singing this song, and it's kind of had that voiceover quality of the song.
Yeah.
And they switch the scene, and the song keeps going, and I'm like, oh god, montage time. Yeah. And it was a great montage, but it gives me so much more anxiety because it's like montages are good, but they're so not good sometimes. Because someone's gonna fucking die. Like, they're building up all these people and all these relationships, these interactions for the last part of the night. Like, we're getting close here to the end, and they just go over this montage of everybody interacting, and you see Missandei and Grey Worm kissing each other.
And they did have a small scene too.
Oh yeah, and you see Gendry and Arya. They're in like a bed or something, covers.
Arya's awake.
Yeah, and you see other people, and it's just like, shit. This is a good scene, but it's right. We're right here. We're right at the end.
Yep.
And it's just, oh man.
Really quickly, I'll mention Missandei and Grey Worm mentioned that they are like out of their homes and everything, and basically Grey Worm is saying that if they get out of this, because everyone's running away from Missandei, I don't really know why.
Probably because she's not white. Everybody in Winterfell.
But Osha was not white, right? Or is she? I don't know.
She wouldn't be considered like.
I don't know.
Different. She was a wildling.
Right.
But she wasn't.
I don't know what the actress is.
I think her name's like Natalie Tenya, so she might be some type of Spanish.
Well, I don't know.
But they're
maybe
visibly
so
like
different.
They're different skin color. They're very different than anything other the Winterfell's ever seen. I mean,
yeah. So yeah, I get that. All the kids are like running away from them and stuff. Even though Missandei's like the nicest character on the show.
Oh, great character.
And Grey Worm has become very interesting too. So. He basically tells her that once this is all done, he's gonna fight for the queen. But once that's over, like they're gonna go somewhere and he's gonna
go back to her village and he's gonna protect them. Like, it was very good.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, take it away with Jon.
Okay, so we get that scene in the crypts. Now Jon is looking at Lyanna's grave, and Daenerys comes up to him and probably wondering about why he's been so
cold,
non-confrontational. Just not avoiding talking to her at all.
Yeah.
And they get into talking, and it's like. She asks, who is this? And he explains who it is. And that's his mom. His real name is Aegon Targaryen.
He says who it is, but then, she goes, oh, my brother. Everybody always said that he was...
Yeah, so she believes that, Rhaegar raped Lyanna.
Yeah.
And he says, nope. He loved her. He married her.
In secret.
They had a kid. And then they go on and says that, she gave her kid to Ned to... protect as his bastard because Robert would kill the last Targaryen, and that he says my real name is Aegon Targaryen.
And she's like kind of got tears in her eyes. She's got this absolutely like no
Yeah.
No.
She pulls away from him and everything, and it's like, oh my god.
And
she says that if that's true. Well, first she asks the legitimacy of it. Where did you hear it? And he says from Bran, who saw it, as he says.
Bran saw it.
Right. And Sam told him, and she says, well, yeah, that's your brother and your best friend, and they just held this until now. And she's probably thinking, like, of course they're saying that because they don't want me as the queen, they want him as the king. So she's not 100% believing it yet, but she says if it is true, right?
Yeah.
That you're the last male heir of the Targaryens, and he has a better claim to the throne because he's the heir's son because Rhaegar was supposed to take over.
Yeah, I mean he does. That's how it goes. He's got the true
claim to the throne, but she always talked about breaking the wheel and all this stuff, and like honestly, all this stuff doesn't matter anyway.
And it doesn't matter to Jon. We have seen this.
Right.
We know this. Jon does not care about
to
the titles.
Right.
And she's like, what would you do? What are you gonna do, or what do you want to do, or whatever? And he's just kind of looking at her.
Yeah. You said, do you want the throne or something? What did she exactly ask him?
Yeah. So I don't remember.
She asked him a question about the throne, or if you want the throne, or something like that.
Are you gonna take the throne?
Yeah. And he looks at her like super sympathetically, and is like about to answer. Then we hear like a war horn, and then we're off to the races. Everyone starts to take their positions. Jorah looks out.
He comes out on the horse, yeah.
Yep, and then we see just a dead horse's hoof or leg, and then we tilt up, and it's a couple of White Walker generals. Look, and we pan around, and we see Winterfell and their sights, not too far in the distance, and then we cut the black, and that's the end of the episode. So next week, actually this week, starting with Endgame on Thursday, is going to be a rough week, like I said. Are you ready for next week?
Dude, I am so not ready. I need more beer.
You're drinking the official Game of Thrones beer, aren't you?
By Alma Gang Brewery, based out of New York. Fantastic.
No one can see that, and you gotta bring it in.
Sorry. Belgium-based brewing company, and they've had a great series coming out this year called the Royal Reserve Collection. And this one I'm drinking today is called the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. It's for Cersei. And I drank it first because I hope she dies soon. And it's delicious, sour blonde ale blend. And then next week, I'm going to need a little bit more kick. This is the King in the North.
The King in the
I'm rooting
North.
for Jon.
The King in the North.
And it is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout at 11% alcohol. And that is not going to be enough for me. It's going to be a rough week. I might have to take Monday off. Do they do bereavement days for fictional characters?
If they do it for sports games and stuff, they should do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to be an emotional wreck on Monday.
Yeah, me too, man. So it's going to be a rough week. We'll get through this together, everyone. If you guys are watching this, I know at least a few of you are, so we'll get through this together, everybody.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough to get through, but we'll do it. We
will.
It. Yeah, man. Really quickly, I wanted to say, or just ask, what do you think's going to happen here? I mean, we've been going around for a long time. Let's just quickly go. I'll go first. This is what I think's going to happen.
Oh my God.
We're going to have the big battle at Winterfell. I think the next 2 episodes are going to be the big battle. But then we still have 2 more episodes left after that. Because this is episode 2. Mm-hmm. So we'll have 2 more episodes, and I think that's going to be whatever's going to happen with the Iron Throne. Are going to be the last 2 episodes.
Well, they say that next week's episode is the Battle of Winterfell, and it's going to be the longest battle.
Right.
And that's not just in Game of Thrones. That's like cinematically.
Right.
Y'all remember Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, 45-minute battle there? This beats it.
Gonna be
I'm so ready, and I'm so not ready.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so I think
there's gonna be an episode fallout of it. But it's gonna continue in some form in the episode after next week, I think.
Yeah, I could see the fallout after the main battle.
And then after that, the last 2 episodes are gonna be whatever happens there. If the Night King is gonna be marching towards King's Landing or whatever's gonna be happening, we're gonna get some kind of conclusion to the Iron Throne stuff. Cersei's gonna be involved with the Golden Company and all that stuff, and
more battles.
Right, and then we're gonna wrap it up there. So
God,
that's what I think the structure is gonna be. What do you think? Do you agree with that?
I can see that. You definitely are gonna have some type of fallout episode. I mean, so say, they have to win, right?
I think it's gonna be like some of the forces and the Night King are gonna get through Winterfell. a lot of them are going to die, or whatever you want to say, because they're already dead. They're going to get through Winterfell with like a small force or something, but a lot of our heroes are still going to be left, and they're going to have to go to defend the Iron Throne, basically. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
And it's going to be a much smaller battle with kind of just the
only
core
the
heroes.
20,000 Golden Company.
Right, but I mean, it'll be like the heroes that are left. I think they're going to be focusing on just like the main characters going against like the Night King and some of the generals, and everything is going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Like at the same time. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. All right, so just based on what we've seen, previews.
I think the Night King is going to take Bran. He's going to have Bran with him, and he's going to go towards the King's Landing.
Really?
That's what I think's happening.
Dude, that's gonna be brutal.
Yeah, he's gonna have him as his hostage.
I think Viserion is really gonna change the game, and
Yeah.
I'm almost positive
Dragon fights.
one of it's not Drogon.
Rhaenys, I think, or
Rhaegar.
I think it's Rhaenys or something like that.
Yeah, that
Jon's
one's gonna
dragon,
die.
basically.
John Dragon's
Yeah.
gonna die.
Drogon's gonna be the only one left.
Yeah, but you know what? They could throw us for a loop and kill Drogon.
I
right off
hope
the
not.
bat.
Man, I really hope not.
Or-
Drogon's like the main dragon. He's like the biggest dragon since Balerion.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, you got Qyburn down there with the fucking big ass crossbow. You know,
Yeah,
so it's like
right,
if we do have Drogon going down to King's Landing, like
Right, I
he
forgot
might
about that.
fucking
big
die
thing.
too.
That's true. They might
So,
take down the dragon right away.
But I think Viserion is gonna really turn the tide, and he's gonna fuck up Winterfell itself.
Yeah.
And I think the other dragon, Rhaegar or whatever, is gonna die fighting Viserion. Maybe he kills him, and maybe that's how we get the Night King on the ground, because you know he's gonna be on Viserion.
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, that fight might put the Night King on the ground, and if he is, I almost guarantee you that he lands in Winterfell, and that's when we get Bran like
Yeah.
in there. So, but
do you think it's going to be like I was saying with the structure of like we get these 2 episodes, big battle,
Yeah.
and then they go towards King's Landing?
yeah,
Or do you
at
think,
least
like,
big battle
Cersei's
and
gonna
then
join?
fallout.
Okay. Or do you think like the Golden Company and Cersei are going to join them or something?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Cersei's
Okay.
like, fuck y'all.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I think's
So.
going to happen. But you never know. I mean, something
Yeah,
might...
you really don't. Like,
Maybe like Euron takes control and like takes the army with them to fight the... You know what I mean? Fight White Walkers?
he doesn't give a shit.
I know, but maybe
He
he's
wants
like...
to bed the queen. He did.
He did
lost
already.
the
Maybe he
stature.
wants to leave now. Maybe he did what he said he was going to do.
So doubt it.
Now he's gone. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is
I
playing
don't
devil's
think-
advocate here. Maybe he's seen all this stuff because Euron in the book is all about like these magical, weird ceremonies, messed up stuff.
Oh, you see him in book 1?
No, he's not in book 1, but like just stuff that I've heard, and,
Oh,
and
okay.
watching like these videos and stuff. And I'll Shift X, by the way, I've always said.
Oh yeah, great
channel. He has breakdowns for every single episode. You guys should go watch him. But yeah, like just learning more about Euron, he is messed up. So like in terms of like magical sacrifices and all this stuff. So I could see maybe Euron being so curious about wanting to see these White Walkers or whatever that maybe he'll go just to like go and fight these. Say he went and fought these White Walkers.
Oh, okay. He does have
Out of,
that
like-
type of person in him.
Right. So maybe
I can.
he'll-
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but it is a possibility. So that's I think our review for this week. A lot of stuff to discuss. I think this is way longer than last week's one, so sorry guys.
Yeah.
But
It's Game of Thrones,
we
man.
gotta talk
Like,
about it. We got 4 episodes. 4
It's
episodes
gonna, it
left.
hurts so good. Like
4 episodes left.
it's an amazing feeling, but it hurts.
Woo! 4 episodes. So let us know what you guys thought of the episode. What do you think is going to be happening going forward? Are you preparing yourself for Endgame? I'm going to try and get a review of Endgame up on Thursday, very late Thursday night, early Friday morning. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, we'll see what happens, guys.
That's gonna be a rough weekend, man.
Yeah,
like,
it is. It is. Also, if I could talk about it here on Channel Awesome this Monday, which is when this has been uploading.
So today.
So today, basically later on this evening, from when you're hopefully seeing this, the new fanscription is going up. It's going to be what if Zack Snyder directed Avengers: Infinity War.
Just from what he's told me about it, hilarious.
So I think you guys should check that out. Let me know what you think of that. I just reposted the Zack Snyder Q&A from a couple of years ago and like re-edited it and made it a little bit quicker. So check that out if you guys want to reacquaint yourself with Zack. And yeah, there's no shortage of stuff going on. So
Zack Snyder in my house, huh?
don't do it. Don't assault him. He's probably a good guy.
Sure.
I just think he doesn't get it about the character.
At all.
That's just my opinion. Anyway, I'll see you guys hopefully Thursday. If not, then for sure Sunday. Hopefully I'll be back here with Porter.
Can you imagine, like, however it goes next week, our review next week, I'm gonna be curled up in a fucking
I'm
fetal
already
position.
like that. It's taking everything.
It's gonna be
in my
me
power
on this
not
couch
to just be like
just-
this the whole time.
Oh man,
Uh,
who's ready for some pain?
I'm ready. And not ready, like you said. So, alright guys, we'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Winter is here.
Winter's here. The battle is here.
Battle's here. Cheers. Goodbye.